Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Volleyball Podcast, and it's another episode of the weekly Roundup, and we'll be starting with the international games from Monday, and something very interesting actually to start with, and a couple of people in Europe would understand this when I say it. The question is, will Estonia actually ever win any game? Whether it is friendlies or it is qualifier games or whatever. Rwanda actually beat Estonia during the international break 2-0. Well, I'll leave it at that. The other interesting games during the international week was just Germany playing against Ghana, which I thought was a very good game. Not until the very end, Germany got a goal. I thought that was a good game for Ghana to play. In fact, for both of them actually. Just before the World Cup starts. But I think there are also other friendlies lined up before the World Cup starts in June. And good game overall. A couple of other games also. It was New Zealand playing against Chile, beating Chile 4-1. Used to know Chile to be a very good footballing nation, especially when they had Sanchez and this very stubborn defender who played in the Premier League, I think also in La Liga. But now they're more or less just there. New Zealand beat Chile 4-1. Cyprus also beating Moldova. Kenya beating Grenada. And a couple of other games, especially in the World Cup qualifier for Europe. Sadly, Italy did not qualify this time around again. And this outcome has resulted in a cascade of events. Domino effect is called. Where I think it's the Italian FA chairman or something like that who was had to resign. And perhaps Gattuso also goes at some point. It's absolutely just disappointing for them not being able to get past Bosnia and Herzegovina, given that they fielded a very good team. But I think this is the third attempt, and third time Italy has failed to be at the World Cup in recent times. There was Czech Republic who also got past Denmark. I would have thought Czechia, it's called now. Yeah, there's also Czechia who got past Denmark. I would have thought that Denmark were a better footballing country or nation in that sense, but Czechia got past them, and Turkey, as expected, got past Kosovo, also getting into the World Cup. And there was Sweden. If you think about it, who would I rather have at the World Cup? Isak and Gyökeres or Lewandowski? I think I'd like to see Isak and Gyökeres, and well, that's exactly what happened. Sweden progressed into the World Cup finals, beating Poland. And on the Interconfederations level finals, DR Congo eventually got through to the World Cup, beating Jamaica 1-0. Iraq also beat Bolivia, so we'll be having Iraq at the World Cup. There were a couple other friendlies also during the week. There was Cameroon playing against China, which I think was a very interesting game. Cameroon won that, even though they picked up a red card while at it. Morocco also played Paraguay. Morocco beat Paraguay. Morocco, I mean, supposed to be a very good team, so I'm not too surprised if they beat Paraguay. South Africa played Panama. South Africa lost to Panama. Quite a lot, loads and loads of international games. There was also Senegal playing against Gambia. Senegal won that by 3-0. And Spain against Egypt ended in a draw. Well, Egypt are a strong team, so one could have expected that. Brazil played against Croatia. Brazil won that by 3-1. And Canada drew to Tunisia. Apparently, all of the African teams kind of performed well against, opponents from outside of the continent. And football, or I should say club football, is back. International break is over. Club football is back now, and they started with a banger. Controversies, loads and loads of goals. And I'm going to be starting from the Spanish La Liga, where Atletico Madrid played against Barcelona. And that game was not without its controversies. A certain red card was rescinded in that match. And the rationale is that the player got the ball first. But just taking a look at that video, which you will see here now, I do not see how that red card was, rescinded. It should have been a red card. Should have remained a red card because, in the end, I don't know if what the referees now judge in football games is intentions. It's actually the action that happened. Boot was opened, hit the player at the ankle. That was a dangerous tackle, regardless of the circumstances, whether you meant it or not. In my opinion, I thought that should have been a red card and it should have stood. But Atletico Madrid ended up picking a red card in the end. And Barcelona won that by 2-1 with Lewandowski grabbing the goal in the 87th minute. Another disappointment for Real Madrid, adding to the long list of games that they should have won that they didn't win. And now that gives Barcelona a comfortable 7-point lead after 30 games in the La Liga. So I don't think I see how Real Madrid come back from this, but Barcelona probably wins the league this season. But we'll see how that pans out at the end of the season. And the German Bundesliga also, it was a good return to football for the league leaders, Bayern Munich, who ended up beating Freiburg 3-2. Dortmund also grabbed a 2-0 win against Stuttgart. And it's the English FA Cup. Big games, loads and loads of goals. Disappointment for a certain team who lost a final against Manchester City. Arsenal again lost to Southampton. And the pressure is beginning to pile on Arteta, which was something that people were talking about, after the loss to Manchester City. Just saying that we all hope that the disappointment from the City game does not carry on into, the game against Southampton. The lineup wasn't the worst. I think should be good enough to beat Southampton. But the question, the observation is this, that Arsenal has a very strong first team, right? And in quote, perhaps a strong bench on a day where everyone is fit. But given that it's just the first team that has had this synergy, it then keeps the other players out of the team. And whenever they come in, they are unable to raise the bar. They are unable, no, not raise the bar. They are unable to meet the expectations that the first team players have set. The first team players have really raised the bar high, and the ones coming off the bench cannot meet those expectations. So, Odegaard was on the pitch yesterday, who used to be a starter before he got injured, and it didn't really make any difference. Southampton had a very good game, beat Arsenal, and Chelsea, on the other hand, being that team who's been free scoring in the FA Cup, of course, coming off a disappointing 3 weeks or 2 weeks or thereabout, losing 4 games in a row, all with huge number of goals, and then just coming off this one, beating Portville 7-0 with quite a number of players having very good games. Esteval, for instance, had a very good game. Cole Palmer got a goal, also was very involved in the game for Chelsea. So it was a very good one for Chelsea, scoring 7, given that the next couple of games that they're going to be playing will be difficult, with Manchester City and Manchester United lined up next. So you can expect very difficult, remainder of the season for Chelsea going forward. Manchester City also pumped Liverpool 4-0. Ekitike and Wirtz were singled out as 2 of the best players on the pitch, but Salah, if I think it was at 2-0 or 3-0 thereabouts or whatever, that Salah even lost the penalty. Salah's, of course, time is coming to an end at Liverpool, and this season the form has not just been there. Manchester City scored 4 against Liverpool, and guess who? Haaland scored a hat-trick. The same Haaland who's not in form, who's 22 goals this season in Premier League, most of which were from last year. So in 2026, before this game against Liverpool, Haaland has only scored 2 goals in 2026. And Liverpool just gifted him 3 more, and that's 5 in 2026. But overall, it was a disappointing game for Liverpool, disappointing performance. Of course, like I said in the match reaction yesterday, they are a ticking time bomb. And yesterday, one of the bombs, just one of them, exploded. There's more. There are 7 or 8 games before the end of the season. So there's more to come for Liverpool. And we'll be here to see it. We'll be here to talk about it. And also on Sunday, in the FA Cup, Leeds played against West Ham. Both Premier League teams, West Ham struggling really badly. But Leeds got edged past West Ham on penalties. Like I said yesterday, well, during the match reaction for the City game, Guardiola loves cups, cup competitions. He loves cup competitions. He's picked up a lot this time at Man City. And I don't think he would joke with this one either. He would definitely want the Chelsea and Man City final, which is big. This week there's going to be UEFA Champions League football. Interesting games to watch. There's Barcelona playing against Atletico Madrid, all Spanish affair, and there's PSG playing against Liverpool. So this and many more games that will be coming up this week we'll be discussing on the channel. So be on the lookout for that, for our thoughts and our analysis on all of those. That's all for the weekend roundup. Have a great week ahead.